See, again, good evening once again, everyone. I know many of you are actually coming into the session with overall or mixed emotion like confusion or disappointment, maybe little frustration also because of budget. You watched the budget, you saw the market reaction, and naturally the first question is like, what will happen to our stock market investment, or what will happen to our kind of stock market opportunities also. So before we go any further, let me make one thing very clear. Today's session is about not judging the budget. It's about it's also not about calling it as a good or bad, and it's definitely not about like a hot debate which is happening in the TV also. So this session is only with only one reason I have actually organized, to help you to think clearly. When market is noisy, how do we think clearly? So what we are going to do is very simple. We will separate three things that often get mixed up in the budget today: what changed, what didn't change, and what actually matters to us as an investor. See, we are not here to predict market levels, whether this is a bottom or any short-term calls can be taken about this situation. We are here to improve the understanding or wisdom to make better decisions using this situation. So if you are already part of a happy investing community, you already know this news, these events are actually one-time occurrence, then definitely it is not going to make bigger changes in the returns, but still short-term impact will be there. So today we will flow. For example, first we will understand why the market reacted today without emotion, without drama. Then we will step back and look the big picture, what history actually told us during these situations like tax changes and budget informations, volatility. And finally, we will talk about what we should do as a individual investor, what we should not do and what we should do. From here we will discuss. By the end of the session, my goal is very simple. You should be clear. I'm not here to trying to make you clever, but clear, calm, and be prepared for the rest of the year which is going to come. No need to react, but at least we will understand and plan our actions according to our budget. So let's begin with one of the most important questions. Why did the market fall sharply? Even though there are some announcement good. Okay, let's start by reconstructing the budget session by order. Okay, so for example, when the market opened today or yesterday, nothing dramatic happened. Everything in fact went well. As the budget speed progressed, there were some positive signals that, as Hari said in the beginning, manufacturing incentives were there. Some of the states got most of the budget allocation, component of ecosystem, especially the data centers and long-term capex. Some sector even intraday movement were actually good. So there was actually good rally in some of the stocks. Intraday they reached high also. But till this point, everything was clear. But only one panic or the fear started when finance minister just mentioned the word STT. Even when she mentioned also the security transaction tax, the market was expecting, or the audience were expecting, whether there is a reduction in price or there is a little pause for STT. Because this STT, LTCG, STCG and all, it is coming from longer time. 20 years of history is there. But just we were expecting something will actually help us. But in return, what finance minister gave is like increase, which was a very shocker for everybody. So let me put the market reaction in one clear sentence. Market fell, definitely it fell drastically, but not because of a growth concern or any other business concern. Only it has fallen down with one word: cost of participation. What it means. See, this distinctly very important. The market was not saying India's growth prospects are actually not going good, India's future is weak. The market was saying trading here just became more expensive, which means earlier to this decision, trading in market. See, we are investor, but we will also be doing the same work of a trader, but we will be doing in a different time frame. But we have to understand the problem of traders so that we can also understand how it affects our day-to-day decisions in investing. For example, what changed? STT, if you are understanding what is future, what is option, if it is yes also not a problem, no also not a problem. Future is something, okay, will not go in detail, but just understand options and futures. For those components, STT was increased. For example, on futures, STT was increased by 150% from earlier it was. From options, STT was increased by 50%, both on the premium side, on the exercise side. What it means, if you buy and sell options, then also you pay 50% of additional STT from the earlier one. When you exercise, for example, some people take the options for hedging purpose. For hedging purpose, if they take also, when they exercise it, they need to pay this 50% of STT for this. So, and importantly, there was no relief elsewhere, because what it was told by finance minister is this is being done only for the reason to curtail the F&O actions by the retailer, so that the loss making retailers will do less F&O trading. So in that point of view, then the opposite should have happened. For example, if there is an increase in STT of the options and future, then at least there should be a decrease in STT for equity trading, so that it actually means like what? If you are actually curbing F&O, but you are encouraging long-term investment, so that the plus and minus matches. But what they have done is there is no reduction in delivery STT, which is equity investing, and also no reduction in LTCG, no reduction in SCCG. So this clearly indicates there is no redistribution of what they wanted to take from the market. There is only increase of cost. The cost of participation clearly went up. See, some people think very minuscule increase in the STT chart. See, if you see this 50%, 150% and all, it's not so much. I will go into the exact detail little later, but it is like 0.11, 0.125 to 0.15%, 0.0012 to 0.003%. These are all the increases. But as a whole, if you trade in a high level summary, if you trade with 1 crore of contract, instead of paying 2,500, now you will pay 5,000 rupees. So the cost of participation like this, it is getting increased. Now, when the small amount is taken, but the reason how market function day to day is little different, even though it is very small, the large part of daily market activity comes from traders, arbitrage players, or derivative participants. When their cost suddenly increases, obviously the margin shrinks, risk reward worsens. Because, for example, if they wanted to trade for 1 crore of contract, earlier they used to pay 1,500 or 2,500. Now they are directly paying 5,000. It's directly impacting their reward, against which the risk, whatever they are taking, it is actually the risk reward is affecting. And many people simply step back because of these reasons. What happens when this happens? When participation of people in terms of trader comes down, liquidity is not there in the market. So, Santosh, what is the impact of reduction in liquidity? Once the liquidity is reduced, then volume fall, price discovery, whatever we say, right? After the IPO, there is a price discovery. The price discovery will happen only when there is a liquidity. Like that, market also gives a fair price for a stock. Only there is a volume, only when there is an interest, then the liquidity comes, and then the fair price actually comes. Then when there is no such liquidity is there, automatically the price discovery weakens, and even the small sell order move the price very sharply. So that's how the volatility goes high when there is a liquidity reduction. So this is why brokerage also, see, for example, the impact is directly to the brokerage organizations. For example, Angel One, 5 Paisa, HDFC AMC, those kind of stocks has to feel the heat, because when the brokerage increases, for example, when the taxes increases, the number of trade transactions reduces, then as per their income, as per their business model, the brokerage is only one thing which is getting the revenue. So when the exchange related business fall, mid caps also corrected, large caps also like little bit corrected. It wasn't a panic selling by investor. Especially you need to understand, this selling is clearly created by the disappointment for traders, because the STT is directly going to affect traders then the investors. See, markets are like not just numbers, they are also psychological game, like what we understood with respect to the news and the other 3 videos, whatever we put in the YouTube video. That specific section reminds us like it is not only because of number earning, it is also because of psychology. For nearly 18 months, FII have been selling. FIAs have been going out and retail investors have stayed. So when the expectation from overall market is to bring back the FIA, budget will give some of the good news is what expected. See, even though we discuss weekly, you also will actually go through the YouTube videos from many influencers. All of them were predicting there will be something good in the budget and that will actually take the market high. But what really happened, it's total disappointment from our side. What really happened is not because of some structural change, it's because of only disappointment for the traders. So I wanted everyone in this community to remember one line: this was only a sentiment shock, not a business shock. How do I say this? See, no company, factory are shut down today, no balance sheet weakened today, no earning estimate collapsed today. What changed was mood of the market. The change in mood of the market because of the participation cost and sentiment shock, there is a free violent market fall, then this happened. But hope everyone understands this is temporary. I will actually substitute some facts to say that it is actually a temporary scenario. How do I say that? See, now we will understand what happened in why did this disappointment for the personal investor. See, before we move forward, I wanted to pause here for a moment because many of us felt today it's not confusing, it's only a disappointment. And see, if you look back last 18 months, honestly, foreign investors, as I said, they were actually flowing because like of 2-3 reasons. One is earning. There is definitely a earning potential decreased in last 3-4 quarters. And another one is INR depreciation. So that is actually happening on the one side. Dollar is increasing against INR. So there is no actual return they are taking. So they are going back to emerging markets or they are taking the money back to US. So that is happening not only for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It is happening for last 18 months. Despite that, the market didn't collapse. Why? The question is, after 18 months of FIA selling, why the market didn't collapse? Only because the DIA supported. How come the DIA can support? It's only through our SIP money. So SIP kept coming month on month. Every month it was increasing. New demat accounts were opened. People continued to invest even during the correction phase also. See, the correction which came in COVID and the correction which came after the COVID, there was a different perspective of people. Whenever the correction came, there are little bit of influencers who actually create the like environment, like again it is going to come up. Definitely it is going to come up. So because we have so much of knowledge now, every retail investor uses every dip as an opportunity and pour the SIP money. So it's very easy for DIA to support. But emotionally, what will happen if it is actually happening for long term? And when you carry something for a long time, you became a relation for that same scenario or same habit. It was not only like as invested amount, it is an invested emotion. For example, 18 months you have been investing and there is nothing happening. You just felt disciplined. You were actually patient enough to hold it for the result. Everything was going good. But most investors were not asking exactly from the budget, nothing big, because all big things have been already given. GST cut and then interest rate cut and then some of the last budget actually given income also, additional income also through budget. But nobody was expecting any negative implication in the budget. But what came as a surprise is a negative one. Instead of doing nothing or instead of helping the normal man, common man, the market disappointed, the budget disappointed the market, and so everything psychologically went bad. And this is like, for example, one thing everybody is missing. When the expectations are high, relief doesn't come, disappointments feels like a kind of betrayal. Even if there is no fundamentally, nothing is fundamental problem, then also we feel bad. It's like our expectation versus what we get mismatched. Even though everything was good, if you are given promotion, you will feel happy. At least if you are given average increase in salary, you will also be just okay, peaceful. But if you have been putting all the effort and you get very little or lower than the par value of increment, then you will feel bad, right? The same has happened to the market. See, now there is important thing. feeling disappointment, everything okay. See, that's not, but acting out of disappointment, that's where mistakes actually occur. Most of the retail traders, they actually see this temporary problem and they actually make decisions based on the temporary movement, temporary volatility. Why this matters to our community, why I actually brought this. First of all, I took some time today morning. I understood what is actually happening, what other people are thinking, and connecting the dots. I understood something which is far better than what other people actually told me, because they are saying one side of the story, but I wanted to understand from the value investor perspective. So people don't leave the market because of volatility. Market have always been volatile. Always. Any uncertainty in the market is going to be volatile situation in the market. But today's session is about making sure that doesn't happen. So this session, I'm trying to give you at least a clarity. I will not say the confidence of the comeback from the market, but the clarity why this has happened. Previously, when this same thing or similar kind of thing happened, what really happened. So those analysis I did, and then I'm just here to present, so that whenever we feel upset or whenever we feel frustrated or anxiety is there, it somewhat supports us. So in fact, even though FII continued selling, SIP money came, expectations are high, the disappointment is due to the STT only. There is no impact to at least the investor. Early means, again, earlier also there were so many things. See, does the budget like this actually change your long-term wealth building journey? Only one day, are you thinking this one day volatility is going to change your overall wealth building journey? For example, if you are taking the opportunity, how much amount you will take? If you are losing money, how much money you will lose? See, right now, most of us are in the beginning of our wealth building journey. If you have portfolio more than crore, then you would already know what is going to happen, why this is happening. Since we are starting our journey, I thought like this clarity would bring better visibility of what is going to happen, what we can expect. For example, again, tax affect returns. Earnings are only one thing which is going to create wealth. Now, up to this point, we have been talking about reaction of market, what happened and how it felt. From now, we will just switch the gears to how we can understand, how we can interpret in different way. Because after every volatile budget day, there is one misunderstanding that causes more long-term damage, but the long-term damage is actually caused by the sentiment, not by the budget. Sentiment or the misunderstanding, I would say. It's actually budget. It's not the budget which creates the long-term wealth impact. It's actually the sentiment or the misunderstanding of the sentiment that creates the impact to your decisions. If you are thinking this is the right time to sell, and if you are selling the overall stocks, then also like when the market turns up, then you will not find it like courage enough to get the stocks again. So in simple words, first we will just separate what really matters. Taxes really affect your returns, but they do not affect companies' earning. Company earnings are different. The taxes which is imposed on STT is literally different. Assume a business is making 100 rupees. For example, if they earn 100 rupees today, and while doing the business for a year, they bring the earnings to 115 rupee next year. Now, the growth happens before the tax rate is applied. This 100 to 115, this growth does not account for any taxation. Like that, the tax only decides how much of that the growth you take home, not whether the growth really is existing or not. What I mean to say is like, it's definitely a friction, but it does not decide how much the return is, how much return you are going to generate in the market. Market don't compound returns. Instead, business compound earnings. You just clearly understand. Market is a derivative of company's earning, because if company earnings goes up in long term, the market will also go up. But the sentiments are always there to create the volatility, to shake out the weak players. Then the second one is like, now take STT. STT affects how often to the people. For example, if we take a trade for 1 lakh also, the equity stands same. Equity trade stands same. In a way, it is not a motivation or it is not an encouragement for us from the finance minister, but at least they have not changed. For example, but STT actually changed, but this does not change a company's product. This does not change a company's demand. This does not change a company's balance sheet. This does not change a company's competitive advantage. Yes, obviously, companies like Angel One, 5paisa, those companies definitely will have an impact, but the impact is little or high. You can understand in next few slides. For example, this is why traders feel like impact. In fact, before than investors, traders feel this impact because, as I already told you, they are going to have the higher cost of participation for what they have been doing all these last years. So, wealth creation in equity markets has always come from only one source, which is compounding of earning from the company over a long period of time. If earning grows at least 10 to 12% for many years, price eventually follows it. Not the price in short term follows the sentiment, but in long term it follows the company's earning. This is not my opinion. This is how the market has actually worked. If you take a closer look, okay, if this screen is little clumsy, I know, but let me take you back 20 years and show you how the tax environment for investor has evolved. In detail, I will share the screenshot and you can go through, but if I go through every step, it itself a 30 minutes discussion. That's where like I spent a lot of time in this area, but it is like in simple, I will summarize what happened. From 2004 to 2018, the government followed a very simple philosophy. The first, increase the market participants by giving them everything free. It's like how the Flipkart does, how the Amazon does, the same approach the market government also does. For example, long-term capital gain were actually removed. The intention was clear: encourage participation, deepen the market, and bring more households' savings into investing. That phase helped the market to grow many times over and over again. It's when investor from retail investor participated more and more. But the turning point came in 2018. For example, in 2018, the long-term capital gain came back, and at the same time, to the previous scenario, 2004, I guess. Okay, if you can see 2004, they brought STT by removing long-term gain. Sorry, yes, STT by removing long-term gain. But in 2018, they bring back 10% of long-term gain and they still hold the STT. So this became a double burden for people. So from that point onwards, investors were effectively paying two tax on the transaction, on the gains, whatever they made. See, this was not a dramatic action, but it quietly changed the cost structure. See, the acceleration phase happened further after 2018. In the last few years, that you would have actually evidenced, long-term tax increased from 10 to 12.5%, and short-term tax increased from 15 to 20%. This also added a burden. Now the perspective is, again, it has become, in STT, it's like 150% increase in future and 50% increase in options. But ideally, if you compare generations, the difference becomes obvious. As an investor, starting in 2005, faced almost no friction for investing. But as an investor now, today faces higher friction in terms of STT, in terms of LTCG, in terms of income tax, everything. But it means, see, this doesn't mean investing is no longer going to work for us. But it means the clarity, discipline, and patience matter more than ever in the past. Because we can control the tax. Sorry, we cannot control the tax like weather. But we can control our actions, our discipline, our patience, and our practice. In fact, why I am going back to history is, like, if you see 2018, the worst tax shock. Now for this 50% and 150% of STT, we are thinking so much and market is reacting. Think of a situation where in 2018, STT was also there and LTCG was also brought. But what happened is what you're seeing in the screen. You can go to TradingView also, you can check it. LTCG was reintroduced, and there actually the dip came on the same day, but after a few months, after a few weeks, and the market rebounded. Actually, from there, the market doubled It was around 11,500. Now it is 24,000. So it's all part and parcel of the game. Definitely the changes will bring, because every government, as Warren Buffett says, okay, every government, there is nothing can be done for corruption, and also in return to that, mismanaged finance, then taxes. They will see all the opportunity to tax. Nothing we can do about it. Only we can do and only concentrate on how to make better returns. That's where we can actually put something is in your control, something is not in your control. So forget about that which is not in your control and only focus on what is in your control. For example, if taxes can destroy wealth, as per the 2018, how that within 6-7 years the index can double? That's my humble question, because we need to understand really the long-term growth prospects are based on the earnings, based on the business fundamental, based on the company financials. Not only the sentiment will drive the whole market. Even after this, okay, even after this Angel One hit record all-time high, even after this 5 Paisa hit record all-time high, even after this HDFC AMC record high. So this you can see. Coming back to the basic, market react to the budget, wealth reacts to the earning. Marudiyum, we have been talking the same point. Only the short-term sentiments are a reaction of budget, but the long-term wealth is built on the earnings. The danger comes when the investor, like us, start believing that one budget, one tax change, or one speech of finance minister can change overall wealth building journey. The belief leads to overtrading or panic selling, or like forgetting about the strategy and going again back to our earlier YouTube influencer game. Almost those behavior are the reasons of destruction, or reasons of like overall the game whatever we have built. So that is the real reason why I would like to bring at least whatever I have learned, whatever convinces me from the happy investing framework, whatever convinced me, then I am putting it across so that you understand and be with us, so that we make over a long term, we make a good, wonderful journey. Now that we are clear of this misunderstanding, we will go little high and understand not as a trader, but as a long-term capital based investors. Okay, because this budget was not designed for next quarter or next month. This budget, from my point of view, there are so many negative in the YouTube. I can definitely agree. They are frustrated because market was expecting something, but it gave a different, altogether different perspective. Okay, but something I'm not convinced that it is going to be a worst budget, because they are looking something different. The budget was written for the divided world, because as you know, there are so many things running right now. As you know, the long-term story of a good country, good economy resides on something what is needed for the market, means what is needed for the country. So I believe rather than looking short term, they have taken a long term approach. Yeah, I agree, definitely. They have their inside goals for the election. They have their own problem, because when the election comes for them in the central, they wanted to do something. If they wanted to do something there, if they do it now for the market, then they will not have option to do the same good thing when they wanted to face the election in central. Obviously, the expectation, whatever the team, whatever the market had, is going to be given the 1 year before election, so that the market forget about everything and only have that short-term mentality. And this is again a game of vote banking. But in order to use the capital expenditure, right now we will cover what are all the stuff which was the agenda in the budget. Just to give a glimpse, I will go little slow here, so that if you have any question you can ask. Up to now, we looked all the budget from the lens of trader, investor. Now I wanted to change the lenses, because the truth, what I understood is, the budget was not written for traders. It was written for the divided world, which is right now the geopolitics, right now the overall economy, how it runs, because of so many problems, so many wars. We wanted to ensure that we are geopolitically like geographically safe. We no longer live in a world where economies and geopolitics are separate, because supply chains are no longer the neutral case. Technology is no longer just commercial. Energy is no longer about just cost. In today's world, supply chain is a weapon. Technology decides the power, and this dependency is a risk actually. When we are dependent too much on China, too much on US, all right now we know is like this is going to give us a risk. Every serious country now budgets not just for growth, but also for the strategic independence. Not only the independence what we had before 70 years, 77 years. Let's start with one of the item, which is rare earth. Rare earth, these are not rare earth because they don't exist. The problem is processing that rare earth is actually the crux of how it is actually helping the economy, because the rare earth processing facility is actually like huge investment and is typically very difficult. So China controls most of the processing ecosystem. That gives China leverage over EVs, renewables, defense system, and AI hardware also. So India to build rare earth corridors is not about markets, it's about reducing the vulnerability that we might have in next 15 years or 10 years. So that's how I see. And another one is semiconductor. Now, semiconductor are the brain of modern economy that we all know. Whatever we use from the mobile, laptop, chip, AI, data center, everything is right now with the semiconductor. The US controls the advanced chip design. China is racing up to catch up with them. Taiwan is geopolitically sensitive because of this issue. India, the semiconductor mission 2.0 is not about the next year's profit. It's about ensuring that India is not locked out of critical technology, design, materials, equipment, talent, and this is about building a full stack, not a factory. I see so many actions. I also saw a podcast. If you have time, go to Think School and you can find a podcast of a minister. I don't know from which background he is, but I can actually assure he is a technically sound person who is sitting in government and understanding and responding to the questions of the podcaster, which was very informative. Somewhere we are not near to China or US, but somewhere we are in the journey towards it. That's how I can actually make this. Again, next comes the AI and data center. Definitely the boost given to the data center with this different perspective. One is data security and another one is to revenue, make a revenue out of what is being done using the infrastructure. AI is not just a software now, it's an infrastructure. Data center requires land, cooling, capital, and uninterrupted power. If intelligence is imported, control is exported, tax holidays for the cloud and data center are about keeping data and computation and value creation inside the country. That is the overall agenda of this push on the data center side. Then again on the nuclear energy, see, everybody knows power is going to be really critical on terms of wind energy and coal, everything, but nuclear power, it's definitely going to help us, but high investments and technically it's very challenging. Now, this is actually getting a push. Solar and wind are important, but they are intermittent. But AI, data centers and advanced manufacturing need more power than what we expect today. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's where nuclear power comes in, because extending the custom duty exemptions for these kind of industries is going to really help us. But it's not an immediate impact that we are going to reap, but the infrastructure decision is for next 20 to 30 years. See, if this is clear for you, then at this point, this budget is not for this quarter or this year. It's definitely disappointment for the market, but it's going to create something for 2035. That's how we have to convince ourselves. These are some of the good points that what I have seen. Now, let me be very clear about something. These moves won't come tomorrow, as I said. They won't change quarterly earning. They won't change short-term rallies. They decide who wins in 2035 among countries. It's not about the government. It's not about the party. This nation-building capital expenditure, not an investment model. So, as an investor, our mistake is expecting every budget to reward us immediately. Yes, obviously, I know I am putting a different opinion. I totally agree. But what happened in last 1 year? We were been discussing in our at least Pathfinder session. Government did whatever they can do to boost the liquidity. First, they cut the interest rate. Second, they actually cut some of the income tax, 12 lakhs those gave some of the cash in hand, and after the interest rate, after the income tax, they also put the final Brahmastram on GST. Everything was done, but still FII they cannot control. They cannot control the rupee depreciation. So still the challenges is there. There might be two options, or from my mind there are two things which is coming. One, they wanted to go with the rupee depreciation because they can make the export cheaper. What I'm trying to say is, like, if the rupee is less from the US dollar perspective, the exports become cheaper and it becomes competitive when compared with China, when compared with other countries. That is one agenda. It might be the hidden agenda, or otherwise the other thing which government might know, big players might know, it's my like random guess only. One is they are okay with rupee depreciation so that the exports are competitive, and the second one is they know exactly that US deal is going to be going positive for India. That is the only hope I can actually take, because without any good news, the market is not going to rebound. That's for sure. But if the market has to rebound, then there should be good news. One, we expected budget, and the second is the India-US agreement, which is actually going for a long time. If government knows that this is going to be ending smoothly, but it takes time, then at that point they can take this leap of compromising the budget for the short term, so that when they are sure, then they can take this risk, is what I am thinking. I might be totally wrong, I accept, but this is what my like random guess says. So now that we are seeing full picture, avoiding emotion, misunderstanding, and strategy, what do we do differently from here? If at all, we understood what happened, we understood what it felt like, and now comes the important part: what we do differently from here. So from the traders, see, I strongly believe this is not for us. This is for the people who might be watching this in the future. But as a trader, I would prefer, please come out of futures and options and like leverage trading. This is definitely going to hurt you in short term and also in long term. But it's like fewer trades, higher conviction, risk control, everything you can do, but you cannot control the outcome it is going to give. So I will on the ballpark, I will say, please come out of intraday, that is gambling. Please come out of future and option. Then for investors, it is like very clear. Volatility in the market is an opportunity for us. See, volatility is the price you pay for the long-term return. Market don't give you 12 to 15% return. For us, it is very different without making uncomfortable decisions. Corrections are not signal to exit, they are invitation to think. In fact, I would say for the new batch of people, this is actually a crucial time that you need to take action. Be ready for 10 to 15% fall from wherever you take decision. Even I have the same in my portfolio, but I'm okay because I know from my buying price, it is going to go to the target and hit the target and give me the money, whatever I was planning. With respect to my expectation, it is going to go. I don't have any expectation in when it is going to go, but I know it is going to go. So deploy gradually. We need to invest as we have our framework. We are clear. Month on month, you take some amount, just run through the opportunities, whichever is in your watch list. As per strategy, you implement that and you take the decisions. We don't try to become a hero by identifying or trying to identify a bottom, because capital should be deployed step by step, month on month. The margin of safety is already there. With patience, with practice, with understanding of whatever we are learning in strategies, take the decision. With that decision, you will be able to make much more return, because that uncomfortable decision, whatever you are going to make today or this week or this month, in the next future few weeks, that uncomfortable decision is going to give you the return. On addition to this, focus on fundamentals. Understand fundamental class is basic of whatever we have taught. If you are not good at it, you can find a good strategy, but you cannot find like a good company. When the company is not good, strategy is good, then also it is not going to work. In the volatile market, stories break, definitely. What survives are strong balance sheet, predictable cash flows. We are not worried about cash flow. At least valuable company, valuation should be less when we buy, and when there is fair valuation or it is overvaluation, we sell and then come out. That is how our happy investing framework comes with value investing concept. And avoid, like, market don't reward certainty. Please, again and again I'm saying, if everything is certain, then there is no arbitrage that you can make money. So they reward only uncertainty, where the uncertainty is approached by humble persons like our team. Understand, go with the strategy, go with whatever we have actually thought and whatever we have learned. The golden rhyme becomes, we don't predict bottom, we prepare for value. Already so many companies are at a good valuation. Go as per strategy. Again, we don't predict bottom, we prepare for value. Nothing about today forces you to change a good strategy. Already everything is set. So just implement the learning, and don't forget about discipline, practice, and patience, because intelligence will definitely confuse you, but the discipline is going to give you the wisdom. So before we close, I just wanted to give you a final thought. Market will test your patience many times more than you could actually ever imagine. Definitely, this is not the bottom. This is not the end of the patient testing game. I am feeling it because, like, how do I put it? Now you are seeing the opportunity where I have bought and I am sitting in 30% loss in some of the stocks. That stock is still fundamentally good. Okay, that is going to be a good opportunity for you. But from here, it can still go to 10 to 15%. But obviously, when the earnings, when the cash means, when the revenue, sales is all time high, profit is all time high, company is at good valuation, it has to come up. My target also it will hit, your target also it will hit. Obviously, it will give money, but we don't know one answer when it will give. So consider 3 years lock-in period in this overall journey, 3 to 4 years. Okay, safer side you keep 4 years also, because it's not going to be easy for us, but it's going to be very simple if you follow discipline. Again, I repeat, it's not going to be easy, but it is simple if you follow the strategies, follow the discipline, and stay with the community. That's what I wanted to give. If there are any final questions I can take. Before we end the session today, let's like zoom out one last time, because days are like, today it can feel this is a very big moment, but actually they are not. As I have shown already, in 2004, there was one event where the stock market, LTCG was removed, but then also the stock fell because of another reason, which is based on earning. Again, on the reverse side, 2018, we saw the LTCG, but still the stock market actually doubled in mostly like 7 years. It's like, when we separate successful investors from exhausted investors, it's not intelligence, it's actually not information, it's a temperament. Temperament is like when it is testing patience more and more than you can actually afford to actually take it. Actually, the longer you stay patient, the better or the higher the return comes. So understand that noise is temporary. This cycle repeats as it repeated last 2-3 times in past. I will share the screenshot. You go and see and check the chart in trading view. You will understand the whole game. It's not the tax which is going to create long-term impact. It's only a short-term sentiment. This is exactly like a short-term sentiment on long-term companies, earnings, financials, fundamentals. This is going to support the overall journey. So I rest my understanding of what I understood today morning. This is exactly what I wanted to share. The purpose of this is to not to predict next to move. The purpose is to just clear the clutter among the headlines or YouTube. So many things are actually floating around. I just wanted to convey this to this community so that it's kind of clear for you. You are not becoming intelligent, but you are becoming wise with this community is what I feel. And before opening up for questions, what confused you yesterday that feels clearer now is what I believe. With that, I will be opening it for questions. I prepared something with the interest of time, because it is late night. I don't want to extend it to till 10 o'clock and all, like I used to do it in the morning. So I thought like I go a little fast without giving opportunity for questions. But I thought through some of the questions. I hope I cleared some of the questions also. My video is not coming. I will just switch it on. Any questions?
I have a question.
No questions.
So,
Nah.
can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, I have a question. So, based on this budget, no,
Ah.
however, rupee depreciation will it come into control?
No. It's not going to happen just like that. Because of this budget, it is actually going to increase. It will go to 100 also, definitely.
Okay.
It is going to 100 also because the concept is very simple. When they take money out, FIAs, obviously they are going to sell the rupee. When they sell the rupee liquidity is going to be high, the demand is going to be down. Like an onion and tomato example, whatever we used to discuss, this is also going to take from 92 to 100. There is a high chance. But as I said, there are two last confidence I have is one, government is very sure that US agreement is going to happen in the near term. That's what I can actually feel. And the other one, they are ready to take the hit in the rupee to make the export competitive. That's the final take. I have it now. That's the least belief I have. Let's see.
Okay. Okay.
எத்தனை பேர் இருக்கீங்கன்னு தெரியல எனக்கு, but still I was excited after preparing and understanding this much thing. I just wanted to explain. That is the only sole purpose of why I did this today. Otherwise, I can make a YouTube video, but it feels lively when I speak to you live. That is the only request. If you are one or two people also on the other side, it still makes big difference because I'm struggling to speak the same content when I am alone, but I am struggling on the other side. But it is very easy for me to explain a person. That's why I just thought, if this is working, if this is actually helping you also, I will follow the same method. Whenever I make any new content, I will just invite on that time, I will record and then post it. Otherwise, it is very difficult for me. And the reason for English is to improve so many things, to help AI, because I tried it with Tamil. So many challenges are coming. So I thought, like, everybody understands English. If there is any doubt, I can specifically take and then answer it. But still, to make this journey long term with self-reliant infrastructure, like whatever we made, no question and answer, for those things, if I keep simple English, it is going to help me a lot in so many stuff. That's the only reason that why I am keeping it in English. Any other doubts or questions? சொல்லுங்க ரிமன். யா,
இந்த எஸ்டிஜி டாக்ஸேஷன் வந்து எப்படி இந்த brokerage கம்பெனியை அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணும்? அவங்களுடைய ரெவன்யூ க்ரோத்தையும் ப்ராஃபிட் க்ரோத் மார்ஜினையும் கண்டிப்பா இது அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணும் இல்லையா?
கண்டிப்பா.
லைக் ஆஞ்சல் ப்ரோக்கிங், பைசா இதெல்லாம் நம்மளுடைய ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிக் இதுல இருக்கிற
இருக்கு. பட் let me take you to the truth also. For example, what is, நான் இப்போ வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன்னு தெரியல, ஒரு நிமிஷம். எனக்கு கொஸ்டின் ஆன்சருக்கு அதனால தான் நான் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 30 மினிட்ஸ் வச்சேன். ஏன்னா என்னை விடவே நிறைய பேர் இங்கே டெஃபினட்டாக பெட்டராக யோசிப்பீங்க. ஸோ அந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு ஆன்சர் இருந்ததுன்னா ஓகே, இல்லைன்னா நம்ம தேடி கண்டுபிடிப்போம். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இந்த இடத்துல இந்த ஸ்லைட் நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, February 1, 2018 அருண் ஜேட்லி புட் LTCG அண்ட் எவ்ரி திங் போட்டாங்க. அது கூட ரொம்ப பெரிய, இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு பி வெரி ஃபார் பாஸ்ட். பட் இன் 2023, when July 23 came, no, LTCG was actually increased and STCG was also increased. This is going to impact the retail investor. Then also there was a short-term impact in Angel One. Wait, let me try to put trading view. தெரியுதுல?
தெரியுது.
Trading view, Angel One. So July 23, March 25, July 23, 2024. இங்க இருந்து மறுபடியும் மேல போயிருக்கு. ஓகேவா? அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னொரு இன்சிடென்ட் எடுப்பாருங்க. February 1, 2018 வந்து பார்த்தா நான் நேற்று செக் பண்ணேன். ஏஞ்சல் ஒன்றும் அப்போ இல்லவே இல்லை. பட் இன்னொரு கம்பெனி இருந்துச்சு. ஒரு நிமிஷம், மோத்திலால். இதே கொஸ்டின் எனக்கு வந்து சரி பண்ணி நான் செக் பண்ணேன். ஒவ்வொரு கம்பெனியா 2018 என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னு செக் பண்ணும்போது மோத்திலால் மட்டும் தான் 2018 முன்னாடி இருந்துச்சு. இந்த மோத்திலாலுக்கு என்ன பிரச்சனைனா, அந்த ஸ்மால் கேப் கம்பெனிஸே மற்ற நிறைய வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா செபி ரூல்ஸ்னால மாறவே ஃபுல்லாவே டவுன் ஆயிடுச்சு. பட் ஸ்டில் அவங்களுடைய கோர் பிசினஸ் அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமுமே வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்களால கம்பேக் வர முடியுதுன்னா திஸ் டெஃபினெட்லி வில் கம்பேக். ஸோ எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு லாங் டேர்ம்னு சொல்றதை விட வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நெக்ஸ்ட் 2 quarters 3 quartersலேயே வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சரி ஓகே, ஏன் அவ்வளோ காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு. ஐடிசி வந்து ஸ்மோக்கிங்க்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சின் டாக்ஸ் போட்டுச்சு. அதை பத்தின உங்களோட வியூ என்ன சொல்லுங்களேன். ஆன்சர் அதுல தான் இருக்கு. கண்டிப்பா ஸ்மோக் பண்றவங்க நிக்க போறாங்கன்னு கேட்டா கிடையாது. இது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பாஸ் ஆன் பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டே இருப்பாங்க ஐடிசி. சேம் வே இந்த இடத்துல வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 100 பேர் ட்ரேட் பண்றாங்கன்னா 10 பேர் வேணா யோசிப்பான், ஓகே ரொம்ப அதிகமா செலவாகுதுன்னு. மறுபடியும் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த ஹேபிச்சுவேட் ஆன அந்த ஸ்மோக்கிங்க்கு அடிக்ட் ஆனவங்க மாதிரி வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஆப்ஷனுக்கு அடிக்ட் ஆனவங்க வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட்ஸ் நாட் கோயிங் டு கம் பேக். அவங்களுக்கு பக்காவா லாஸ் ஆகி வெளியே வந்தாலும் வருவாங்களே தவிர வரமாட்டாங்க. ஆன் த அனதர் சைட் இட்ஸ் a very different analogy. இங்க இருந்து எடுத்தீங்கன்னா மறுபடியும் அவன் கிரிப்டோக்கு போவான், இல்லைன்னா கேம்பிளிங்க்கு போவான். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி தான் இன்னைக்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வி ஹவ் சீன். பட் ஸ்டில் அந்த பிசினஸ் ஷார்ட் டேர்ம்ல ஒரு இம்பாக்ட் இருக்கும். அதை ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டியை கன்சிடர் பண்ணோம்னா தென் யூ கேன் டெஃபினெட்லி சி within 1 or 1.5 year it is going to go up. Thanks for the question. Any other question for newbies?
Then I have a question now. இப்போ அந்த எஸ்பிடி வந்து அந்த கேபிட்டல் கெயின்ல வந்து மீன்ஸ் அந்த கெயின்ல வந்து அந்த டாக்ஸா இல்ல எப்படி அந்த எஸ்பிடி?
எஸ்டிடின்றது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீ ஜெரோதால டிரான்சாக்ஷன் பண்ணும்போது brokerage calculator, no just I will put it brokerage calculator. இதுல வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இஃப் யூ ஆர் புட்டிங் இன்ட்ராடே ஈக்விட்டி இல்ல டெரிவேட்டிவ் ஈக்விட்டி எஃப்என்எம் போடுறோம்னு வச்சுக்கேன், this 1000 rupee by 1100 rupees still consider lot size is 400. NSE ல brokerage is 40 rupees to and fro. STT total 88 rupees வருது இல்லையா? this 88 rupees வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த 84,000 turnoverல ஒரு percentage. If you divide it, okay, 84 divided by 88 divided by 84,000 அதானே வந்துச்சுங்க. 84,000 இன்னொரு சைபர் போகும். This is now 0. அதாவது இன்டு பர்சன்டேஜ் போட்டோன்னா எவ்வளவு வருது? This is now 0.1%. ஓகேவா? இப்போ இந்த 0.1% what they have done, I think 0.15 இதை மாத்திருக்காங்க. So இப்போ now this 88 will become obviously one ஃபியூச்சருக்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 150% அப்படின்னா this 88 will become already 200 rupees. இப்போ இதே விஷயத்த 4000 குவான்டிட்டி பண்ணனா இந்த சாரி யாராவது ஒரு क्वेश्चन கேக்குறீங்க?
இல்ல அந்த 88னா another 44 rupees getting added, 120 rupees something 130 rupees கிட்ட ஆட் ஆகும் மேபி.
கரெக்ட். இதுல இந்த எஸ்டிடிக்கு வந்து பார்த்தா மறுபடியும் ஜிஎஸ்டி இருக்கான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. பிகாஸ் இன் ஆல் தஸ் தே வில் புட் அகைன் ஜிஎஸ்டி. ஓகேவா? எஸ்டிடி இஸ் a டிரான்சாக்ஷன், அந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷனுக்கு மேல ஒரு ஜிடிடி இந்த மாதிரி தான் ஆட் ஆகிட்டே போகும். ஸோ இந்த சார்ஜஸ் தான் ஆக்சுவலி நம்ம பேர்டனே. இந்த சார்ஜஸ்க்காக வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தே ஹவ் இன்க்ரீஸ்ட் இந்த எஸ்டிடி. இன்னொரு கொடுமை என்ன தெரியுமா? நான் அவ்வளோ டீட்டெயிலா போகல. அதாவது ஃபாரின் இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா இந்த ஜிஎஸ்டி அவங்களுக்கு கிடையாது. ஆனா இந்த 36 ரூபாய் எடுத்துட்டு இங்க வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 88,200 மாத்திட்டாங்க. தட் டசன்ட் ஆட். அவங்களுக்கு மறுபடியும் தெரியும்ல, இன் டிரான்சாக்ஷன் தே ஆர் கோயிங் டு ஆக்சுவலி ஆட் காஸ்ட். ஃபியூச்சர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க ஃபாரின் எஃப்ஐஐஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா தே ஆர் டேக்கிங் அவுட் ஜிஎஸ்டி. ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்ல ஸ்டில் இருக்கு, ஃபியூச்சர்ஸ்க்கு அவங்களுக்கு தே ஆர் டேக்கிங் அவுட் ஜிஎஸ்டி. அந்த ஜிஎஸ்டி எடுத்துட்டு 40 rupees எடுத்துட்டு ஆடடா வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 120 rupees கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா 40 rupees மேல டெல்டாவா 80 எக்ஸ்ட்ரா தான் வரப்போகுது அவங்களுக்கு. இட்ஸ் நாட் ரைட் வே. ஆக்சுவலா அவங்க என்ன பண்ணியிருந்திருக்கணும் அப்படின்னா எஃப்என்டோக்கு ஏத்திட்டு ஈக்விட்டிக்கு கம்மி பண்ணியிருந்தாங்கன்னா சென்சிபிள் டிசிஷனா இருந்திருக்கும். பட் ஈக்விட்டிக்கும் கம்மி பண்ணலன்றதுனால ஐ தாட் லைக் இட்ஸ் நாட் ஆடிங் அப். பட் உன் क्वेश्चनக்கு பதில் கிடைச்சதாரி?
கிடைச்சது.
ஓகே. எனி அதர் क्वेश्चंस?
எனக்கு எந்த கொஸ்டின் இல்லாதனால அந்த செமிகண்டக்டர் பத்தி போட்டிருந்தாங்க, சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க இல்லையா? செமிகண்டக்டர் 2.2 அப்படி சம்திங் சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க இல்லையா? ஸோ அதனால இந்த இஎம்எஸ் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்ஸ் அதெல்லாமே வந்து
கண்டிப்பா இருக்கு,
பூஸ்ட் ஆகும்.
கண்டிப்பா இருக்கு, கண்டிப்பா இருக்கு. சி ஒரு பேட் நியூஸ் வந்து பார்த்தா வந்து அகெயின் இஃப் யூ திங்க் ஆப்ரேட்டர் கேம், we are seeing Keynes, we are seeing Dixon, everything is going down. ஆனா இது எல்லாமே இப்பயே உடனே தூக்கிட்டு போயிடுவாங்களான்னு கேட்ட தூக்கிட்டு போக மாட்டாங்க. They wanted to buy, they wanted to take it down, go to cheapest valuation. When everybody is frustrated, okay, இதுக்கப்புறம் எவனும் விற்கிறதுக்கே ஆள் இல்லை, இதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியலன்னா மட்டும்தான் அவங்க அப்புறம் மறுபடியும் வாங்கி வாங்கி எடுத்துட்டு போவாங்க மேல.
ஓகே ஓகே, பட்
But still be ready for 10 to 15% of downfall, but don't worry about it. Play ABCD. Definitely you will be actually in a comfortable zone.
ஓகே.
ஹெவியா இருந்துச்சா இல்ல புரிஞ்சுச்சா? வாட்ஸ் த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்?
ஒரு கிளாரிட்டி கிடைச்சது.
இல்ல கிளாரிட்டி கிடைச்சிருக்கும், பட் கண்டென்ட் ஹெவியா இருந்துச்சா இல்ல ஈஸியா புரிஞ்சுக்கிற அளவுக்கு இருந்துச்சான்றதான் என் கொஸ்டின்.
எனக்கு ஈஸியா இருந்துச்சு.
புரியலப்பா?
எனக்கு ஈஸியா இருந்துச்சு.
ஓகே 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 ஓகே. எனி அதர் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இல்ல ஃபீட்பேக்? இல்ல நான் கேக்குறேன்னா, வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு தடவை பாத் ஃபைண்டர் இல்லாம நான் முன்னாடியே கமிட் பண்ணியிருந்தேன், பட் எனக்கு டைம் கிடைக்காதனால பண்ண முடியல. பட் நவ் இப்போ நான் ஒரு சின்ன ஃப்ரேம் ஒர்க் போட்டு இது எப்படி ஈஸியா பண்ணலான்ற மாதிரி ஒரு பண்ணி தான் அதை நான் ட்ரையல் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். இப்போ இது ஓகே ஆச்சுன்னா பாத் ஃபைண்டர்ல முடிஞ்சா 15 மினிட்ஸ் எடுத்துக்கலாம், இல்ல தனியா வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 30 மினிட்ஸ் அந்த வாரத்துக்கான சம்மரி என்ன நடந்துச்சு, முக்கியமானது ஏதாவது இருக்கா அப்படின்றத வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நான் அப்டேட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி யோசிச்சேன். பட் the way it went எப்படி இருந்துச்சுன்றத பார்த்தாதான் தென் அட்லீஸ்ட் அந்த வேல்யூவை நான் ஆட் பண்றது எனக்கு பர்டனா இருக்குமா ஈஸியா இருக்குமான்னு தெரியும். வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை. எனிஹவ் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எதுவும் இல்லைன்னா க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். பட் இந்த டைமிங் எப்படி செட் ஆச்சு எல்லாருக்கும்? ஓகேவா? ஏதாவது அர்ஜென்ட்னா வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இன்னைக்கு ஆக்சுவலா அர்ஜென்ட் என்னால் பண்ண முடியல, நான் பண்ணிட்டேன். அமைதியா இருக்கிறத பார்த்தா ஏதோ ஒரு வேலை பார்த்துட்டு கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்க. ஐ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்.
எனக்கு
ஓகே. பட் எப்பயும் நம்ம இப்படி பண்ண மாட்டோம், காலையிலே வச்சுக்கலாம். ஸோ தட் யூ ஆர் நாட் டிஸ்ட்ராக்டட், டிஸ்டர்ப்டு. எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் ஆக்சுவலி ஃப்ரீ ஒன்லி வித் மீ. இப்போ கண்டிப்பாக எனக்கு தெரியும் நிறைய பேர் நிறைய விஷயத்த வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பேரலாக பண்ணிகிட்டே தான் இருக்கணும், வேற வழி கிடையாது. சம்படி வில் பி லக்கி லைக் மீ, ஹரி, அனில், பேச்சுலர் கைஸ் தனியாக வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இருப்பீங்க. அண்டர்ஸ்டுட். மற்றவங்க எல்லாருக்குமே வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு வேலை இருக்கும். ஐ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஓகே, இஃப் தெர் இஸ் எனி நோ கொஸ்டின்ஸ் தென் வி வில் ராப் இட். உண்மையிலே ரொம்ப 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 தேங்க்ஸ் ஃபார் spending time, for giving your time, for patience. This really means a lot to me. நான் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா என்னதான் இங்கே வேல்யூ ஆட ட்ரை பண்ணாலும் அதை வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அக்னாலேஜ் பண்ணி அதை வந்து அக்செப்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ரொம்ப 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 நன்றி. ஸோ வித் தட் ஐ வில் சே if there are no other questions we will close it.
Thank you.
Happy investing team. Monday, Wednesday, Papa. Bye bye.
But some effect is there. I think put some